Peter Drucker made a statement that we are in an age of overwhelming complexity, tremendous competition, and accelerated change. And that's the season we are in. By 2030, the world as we know it will no longer be the same. There will be a lot of difference and changes out there. And this hits even in the world of finance, those of us who are investors. Like, if you look at the law of diffusion of innovation theory, which has been for a couple hundreds of years now, it talks about the speed at which innovations come into the world and causes a change and a shift, right? And even if you study the richest and most successful people in the world, even from the time of Andrew Carnegie, was like the richest man in the world in his time, who found the Standard Oil and stuff. If you look at history through hundreds of years, if you're a historian or somebody who studies the past like I do, you get to understand this same thing, this law of diffusion theory, play out in each sector and each industry, right? Because if you look at, there are basically like 5 most important people in this that shows the speed at which innovations move through a population. We have the innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and the laggards. The people who do not really make money, people who are more of the consumers, right, are the laggards. And that's where you do not want to be when it comes to cryptos, right? Those of us who've been in crypto from like 2015, we've been here for like 10 years now. We are in the early majority, right? We're in the early majority. And those of you who are coming in this season, this period, you are in more like the late majority. But will you still make money? Yes, because we're like in the last opportunity here for you to literally change your life in this season, in this time. 3 things I said that's going to be very important is the speed at which this bull run is just going to, the last part of the bull run is just going to move through a couple of months and we are done, right? You won't see this opportunity again for the next 5 years. I want to talk about the next 5 years is crypto, DeFi, finance, the world as it is, as we've seen it now, will no longer be the same by 2030. I mean, a lot of us right now, like those who are part of my private fund management, and I was speaking to a couple of them, I was making an emphasis on looking at the global human labor force right now. We're considered about, I think, a little bit over 3.5 billion people, right? The global human labor force currently about 3.5 billion people, and the demand for robots will not just be to replace labor jobs that currently exist, right? But it will also be to augment people's day-to-day personal lives, just like in the same way we're having cell phones and vehicles did, right? The same way what we are seeing. If you look at more like, I think every year currently, every single year currently, we have like 70 million cars sold, 300 million computers sold, and 1.5 billion cell phones sold. If you look at the, what we call the, I don't know why it's skipping my head now, the 7 disruptions of man. We're talking about computer, the internet, mobile phones. We're going from one stage to another, television, and then we get to blockchain. Blockchain, the 7 disruption, right? Where we have crypto coming out of, and then we're not even, the 7 disruption is already about the space of late majority to take advantage of, and then laggards. And after that, there will be an increase more of the 8 disruption. So we're currently experiencing the 8 and 9 disruption of mankind. A lot of people do not know. So I was saying something. Every day about 70 million cards sold, right? About 300 million computers sold, and about 1.5 billion cell phones sold. It is not hard to imagine the billions of robots operating in the world in the future. By 2030, there will be lots of robots operating in the world. And this will really be like one of the greatest products in the world, right? Because humanoid robot companies will be crazily valued. Like, those of you want to, you're preparing to invest for the next 5 years. Now, this is not the financial advice, right? But if you're thinking in terms of total enterprise value for humanoid robots, it's going to be off the roof, off the roof. I'm currently investing in a couple of companies, right? But this is it. Imagine someone who is wise right now, positions very well in crypto, right? And within the next 3 months, you make so much insane amount of money. Some people in the past 10 years, they've never made in their life. Within the next 3 months, you can. And once you're done, you shift from there and then start positioning in the humanoid robots industry, in the space of robotic, in the space of quantum computing, in the space of AI 2.0, where the world is evolving to. right? You will never be able to know poverty for the rest of your life. Remember, I always make a statement. There was something I told a couple of my friends a while ago, not so long, about the season of speed wealth, and that was in 2022. I said we've entered an age of speed wealth. Gone is the time when someone is going to tell you that you need to take 10 years for you to, or 15 years or 20 years. No, we've passed that era. We're in an age of speed wealth, and we're seeing a lot of young people who are experiencing it right now and doing that. And the key to it is to master the current factors of production. It has evolved from land, labor, capital to what I call the 3 I's. What are the 3 I's? Ideas, information, innovation. These 3 things are the factors of production for the 21st century. And after 21st century, forget the 22nd century, there's also there's going to be an evolving stage of the factor of production, but it's still going to hinge on ideas, information, innovation. Look at the richest people in the world. These are the 3 things that took them where they are. And most of us who were just nobodies trying to scale up to where we are currently, we took advantage of this understanding. That's why right now, if you haven't keyed into the opportunities available, the bull run group, the ETF, the one-on-one portfolio structure, and whatever you need to do right now, just make sure you do your possible best to take advantage of the season, take advantage of the time, right? That's what's going to give you an edge above others. What you know that they don't know, right? What you're able to do right now that others are unable to do. And I'm wishing you guys the very best. Like we always say, if the shifu is ready, if the student be ready, right, the shifu will appear. If the student be ready, the shifu will appear. And when the shifu appears, what happens? The students will always prevail. See you when I see you guys, and I hope this video helps restructure your mind about where the world is right now, where the world is going to, and how you can do your possible best to take advantage of the seasonal innovative opportunities within the industry we are in and the industry the world is evolving into as well. And best wishes.